Hey, Bubba. Oh, good job. Hey, Bubba. All right, so I got the baby's actually on the ground, not there. That was. I was just thinking ahead to if I needed to hold the baby. I don't want him part of the training data for. Okay, that's weird. Hmm. So I'm just trying to make sure this shit is like good. I guess is one way to put it. All right. So where am I up to? Um, so basically, to categorize and basically able to. So yeah, what I'm doing at the moment is making it so that when Nova does actions, they get threaded. So let me show you what that means. I've got Chrome open. I got my little baby on the ground, rolling around, which is pretty cool. I won't put him on the stream because that seems a bit strange, but okay, so if I go to should be somewhere around here. Okay, so just in as guest at the moment. Hey, baby. Hello. You having fun down there? Okay, so it's now reading through all these pages, which is great, except it's also triggering this summary, which is not what I want. Because I'm pretty sure that'll cook it. That kind of throws off the rest of the test. So it's only summarized that one and probably crashed. Something's happening. Okay, so the whole summary system needs work too. So much shit needs work. So like, it's now reading through, but it's not like pulling any insight or anything from it, if that makes sense. Like maybe it's just, it reads and then closes when the thread's complete, possibly. Let Let's talk to GPT. A bit over GPT at the moment. I just want to finish like my current set of ideas. At a certain point, I've just written software with a bit of chaos built into it. Basically able to categorize and handle thread, creates main thread, then subthreads and injects, so can dynamically adapt. So trying to think through basic level how it's presented back. If agent is in thread, should it show whole last message and truncated stub, basically progress from last steps, kind of like Docker build. If out of thread, same kind of display, but for whole thread. Issue is if agent isn't taking action from each step, then the step, e.g. in read at least, may as well not have happened. I guess I'll test that out to see how it treats it. But can you suggest anything there? This is really the UI/X that you would be using to work with commands, etc. So you're essentially the end user. How would you like your action history to look to you in situ and when an action is in progress? I'm a GPT UX designer, but my client is GPT, and I pay it because I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, I'm just gonna have to do it. So I think have I got a note for threads and reading. Hey Baba. I love Baba. I love doggy. Hup. How's that? Nice little bit warm? Alright, I'm gonna close a bit of this shit. Hey little man. Daddy's working on the computer. Daddy thinks his baby couldn't be cuter. Daddy loves his little baby. No, I know, baby, go crazy. We had a good walk this morning, didn't we? Okay, so I'm trying to think how to handle the way that the threads are summarized, like, so on a per message basis, and then also on a per thread basis. So I guess maybe I'll start with the per message. So I think this was like knocking it off if it wasn't from the current thread. Which was kind of making it lose its work, which is fine. So this actually should kind of work now. Like, basically just says like if it's not the last in the, now I can do the log list. So no, because when it was doing the count of the whole thing, it would be skipping things that are muted, so the count would be wrong. Oh, maybe. So the log count needs to go up no matter what. Oh, which I think it does. So if every, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, I did think of that. So I know what I'm doing. It's so funny, I'm like actually good enough at coding that I'll be worrying about something that I fixed because I forgot that I fixed it. But like, It's just been in the back of my head for a couple of weeks. Not like majorly, just this little thing. Good enough for coding, but not that good at remembering things that I've done. Anyway, as soon as I start patting myself on the head, it's like, it's all over. See, this is interesting. Like, if I do it like this, it'll just always show the last part of a thread. That sounded good. Was that a touchdown? Hang on, BRB. I think my baby did a poop. I think I've got like a All right, I'm back. Lol. So like, I need to, fuck. Need to find a better way to like test and visualize it. Like I've got the UI. Like quasi matching. I think I turned that off too, actually. So actually this should now kind of match, like what the agent's seeing should kind of match what the UI is already doing. The other thing I need to do is, I guess, sign in and actually that probably won't work because yeah, I don't quite know with the hot reload, like it's a time thing where it's like it stays like stays broken long enough. It like, is it trying? It's got 5 tries, or like do you break it so hard in one go that it's like that's it? Okay, so here, for example, we can see that it's basically not, it's just coming from the last page, right? Which is good actually, because it's kind of working. As weird as that sounds, I wonder if this is going to let me see the... Oh, it's funny. It's just the like titles there. So it's like can you do the same but write out a note as you go so we have your notes from each page. I'm struggling with, and I feel like it's almost like gets to like a philosophical fucking question where it's like, what is knowing something? Like obviously if it's reading something but then doing nothing with it, then it's doing nothing. But then if it's reading it and making a small note, moving on to the next page, like is it knowing? It's obviously only knowing what you can see, so it's written something that it knows. So I'm kind of like now basically just in like the pretty general territory of like retrieval augmented generation. It's pretty specific to reading as well. So it's basically like now I'm going to copy like the note, right? And then the note's going to end up being about as long as the fucking thing. So then it's just like okay, so what's interesting here is that the note which is the message from the, oh my god, okay, so the note, which is the message from the agent, is like the agent's writing its notes, right? Which you can see there because I'm not truncating that. So that's technically wrong, but that's kind of the behavior I want, right? Where it's like, you can see its own scratch pad. So I think maybe that's okay because it's, like it's the agent's actions, and I'm not super confident in how I would truncate function calls. So as it's writing the note, it can read its own responses. And then it's a bit weird though, isn't it? So it's like, it's interesting. It's the same for the actual action here, which is interesting. So we need it to break out of the loop. Here we're basically so if there's no function call, and if thread doesn't equal 0, thread equals 0, except this needs to happen like So that ought to break it out with the result of the thread. Which when it does, usually has like a bit of a summary, and then it'll have the notes that it took, and then ideal world it'll be able to query that thread again, but ideally it doesn't need to, but it's there. Okay. So that'll break it out of the thread. And then technically it'll always have the last bit of the thread and the function calls, which I feel like, yeah, we don't want that. So maybe it's like, okay, if okay, so actually now, okay, yeah, so it is actually only showing the last thread. Um, which is half right, actually. So I think basically it's kind of in the wrong order, where it's actually this. Okay, that finds the chat. That finds the thread that matches that chat, which is good, it's fine. But actually we need to go, we need to do that for each system thread for thread, but it can't be thread object in system threads. Okay. Thread ID and system threads dot key. Is that right? I feel like that's not right, but it's just okay. So maybe actually go the other way where it's like if chat let's just say chat ID because chat ID just make it a bit easier to work with. Dot get chat ID. So it's basically for each chat item, see if there's a thread for it, but it's not like 6 of one, half a dozen the other. Like a data scientist would probably do a better job of this than me. That's okay. Like I'm just wondering about the performance of like how it does a lookup. Like here it's basically working through the chat. You probably inject it in the initial chat build out, but and make it recursive. But yeah, it's a trap because I'll just get sucked into doing that. So I'll just do it like this for now. Though now that I said that out loud, I can't stop thinking about it, but that's okay. Like it's basically like does this in the pass thread and then calls pass thread on itself. But I'm not going to do that. Okay, so for chat and current chat, if there's a system thread that matches it, then if chat ID equals thread, then do this. Else, now I just need to make like a different parser. Okay, so do that. Potion color object, that's okay. Creating something. Thread summary. So object.update role, and the role is actually going to be function. I think. So I can kind of do this in one hit, I'm pretty sure. Name. So this is content. Which is action taken over. So give me the len, the string of the len. We love a good string of the len, don't we, everybody? It's gotta be a fucking quicker way to do that, I bet. Taking over. So I think that kind of makes sense. Do that for now. So now else it goes Incorrect. So just making them still use the same lookup sort of variable or whatever, just in case. Just keep the parity. Alright, so it's interesting. I wonder, well, like obviously only I would know, but like how I'm counting the context. I think it's in the size of the prompt I'm sending, which would make sense. So it should be updated, and as a result keep like the prompt smaller, which is the whole point. Like previously I kind of thought just have everything in the prompt, like in the main thread, and then have it update like, how to put it, have it update, it's interesting. Oh, so these answers are breaking out of the thread. These are staying in the thread? Okay, so yeah, it needs to be, this is pretty hectic. Else if thread isn't 0 and what is it? And role equals assistant, then it'll break out of the thread. Because yeah, obviously these guys aren't going to give you a function call. But yeah, basically like the idea was to just have everything in the main thread, have it summarized as you go, but like in thinking about it, obviously fills the thread up and the context window up with like, it could be random pages from some document or whatever. So I think, I don't think I'll get this right first go. I think that's why it's like kind of boring, because it's like, I know it's probably going to make it worse almost, but I think putting the pipes down to be able to isolate threads and handle them in their own way is going to be useful. So okay, so it's seen as a thread, seen as a thread, seen as a thread, seen as a thread, and it's going to come back and say okay, the problem being now is that it doesn't have why has that fucked it up? I'm not quite sure why there would be a time where it doesn't have an ID. Okay, object, update, ID, log ID. Convo ID. Okay, debug. Thread. chat log. Okay, yeah, so it is here. So passing thread, which is black bag software. Hey, black bag software. I'm creating a thread handler for chats with GPT, right? So basically, I've got like my main convo, and then when it does like actions, like it goes off and does shit, it's all been on the main thread so far, and it kind of fills up the context. So I'm trying to like containerize, what's the word, like put it in a compartmentalize, like, okay, this set of actions, so you can see here, it's like goes and reads something, comes back with the result. It kind of happens naturally on the app, I think, but like I just want to do it myself because I just do. And I've basically now it's doing that okay. Like there's some issues with the logic of it, but now when it comes out of the thread, it's erroring out. I think it's just because it's like an ID thing. So it's like, I'd say it's not a very exciting part of the stream, but it's all basically like this. So what are you doing? So I've gone, you know what? Oh, cool. Yeah. I love using AI to write software. It's really fun. Hang on, I'm going to turn off the audio because it scares the shit out of me. What are you working on? Tell me about it. All right. So it's constructing this chat out of the chat log. Okay, that's why. So this is the top level. So then if there's a combo ID in the system threads, which there is, then so it goes passing thread. Okay, so found. Okay, so what have we got here? Initiating message for current thread. Give thread summary. Initiating message for separate thread. Okay. So it basically does that, right? So it goes, okay. Which is correct, and then it's hitting a message. So it's getting through that. So there's only one thread, and it's finding it, and it seems like it's actually treating it properly. And then it's going to, I guess, the next chat in current chat, which is this past thread. For main, basically. So we should see that here. ID. It's got an ID. It's got an ID. Okay, so is it? Okay, so it's inserting. I've been getting so lazy as I get older. Maybe just smarter. You know, like you can handwrite something or you can use a computer. I think that LLM tools are just sort of multipliers of our ability to think and reason when you're using them properly. It's the only way to really use them in any meaningful way. And certainly don't just spit out what you need. You have to know what you need. That's the hard bit. So yeah, I'm inserting the message. Babe? Yo! You want a hand? Hang on. Baby calls. Yeah, me too. And I think sort of like I see it as this sort of like fractal, like uh, extrusion of whatever you're saying and thinking, kind of run through the sieve of like the current sort of like language base of humanity or their training set or whatever, and So you can sort of just talk about what you're thinking and then see it sort of applied to the structures of the field that you mightn't be fluent in yet. And then when it's working well, the actual automation of like, here's idea, make B is pretty cool. I feel like I'm working on tools that make LLM workflows, so I kind of, in some ways, I miss out on some of the more complete versions of it because I'm sort of like working on it. But I'm ad hoc baby soothing, so that might be me for now. See if I can finish this thought. But I don't want the baby to be an LLM or whatever, like in the Twitch data training set or whatever. We'll all meet together in the database of the great machine in 10,000 years, of course, so it's not that big a deal, but... Okay, so... Boo-boo. So it makes the thread, and then it appends all this shit to it. So which kind of means that it's then going back to, I see, I just didn't give it an ID because it doesn't have one because it's not a real message. Okay, cool. I'll just make it, shouldn't matter, ID. Just do that for now. Oh, but then it's gonna be replicated. So maybe if I go, I'm pretty sure the thread is a string. So I just go finish. I think that'll work. All right, here we go. So should be able to, this is Nova. If you want to try it out, if you're interested in AIs, ask Nova.ai. Not yet. I want to make Nova like, I just use OpenAI because it's not that they're all the same. It's just that I'm kind of working on these workflows that kind of universal. And like, so I'll switch to, like one of my goals is to be able to like turn on different APIs and open source and local and blah, blah, blah. But it's like lower priority than getting the workflows down. So yeah, it's essentially like a interface for, I'm a game designer by trade technically, so like I like make you up, like to me it's like a game engine but for AI, but that's, well, whatever. This is Nova. So can you run these commands? So it's now reading one of these files where previously all this stayed in the context. It's now collapsing it as it goes. Issue being is that now it doesn't have any notes. As per the commands, I've read through the first 4 pages. Okay, great. So now hopefully it should get, not crash. Fuck. Oh, I haven't crashed. Well, what has it done then? Maybe the ID does need to be a number. Hello. But yeah, I really do want to try Claude. I'm just like, here we go. Yeah, so it's an int. So I guess I could go thread +1. No, because it's not. Could I say thread? Let's see, it's a fake ID, but it's an int. Just not sure if I'm using the ID and the sequential stuff anywhere. I could say -1. So I don't think it's getting used. Or I could just have no ID actually and then just get rid of the check for the ID. So it's like if it's got an ID, dot get ID. And then that way I'm not like creating some little naughty little -1 booby trap to fuck me up later. I got a cute baby here, but he's like got a little sticker on the baby. It's my baby, my son, not just some random baby. Okay, so yeah, basically what it's doing now is creating that sort of like chunked hey, all right, cool. And now it's keeping it, see, it's like keeping it out of the thread. And then hopefully if I go to the notes here, function, can you do the same, but this time write to a note for each page to pull out insights and that persist. So it's sort of like, how do I get it to like, oh, Bubba. All right, I better go. I'm gonna go take care of this baby. So it's like writing notes from what it's reading. So it's sort of like, I guess maybe then setting the context by like how big page sizes are, and that can be dependent on the context. Cool, okay. So what happens here? I think that's crashed it. That looks, oh, no. Yeah, cool. Okay, so, you know, it's kind of, it's maybe a bit clunky. But like now if we go to the, if we like look at the history, it's built out like a note from those 4 pages, and then the main thread isn't gummed up with all these pages basically, and that's pretty cool. Okay, like it's going to be a bit of work to, and then ideally it's like if not current thread, I don't quite know how I'm going to handle that. Like it'll basically collapse this here, so. Oh, Bubba. Dusty little eyebrows, don't you? Let's go try and get you to have a nap. You want to have a nap? No, you don't, do you? Well, Mum says you gotta. That's cool. This will be good. It's good. Yeah. The thing is that like, it fundamentally affects every part of the system. So, like, I have to fucking get it right and test it across all the different functions, and which there are a lot of. But it will make it a lot better. Like, I'm sure of it, because it can basically like compartmentalize reasoning, study, research, bubble it up to the main thread. But then ideal world is it can still then get that information again. Like, I don't know why you would want to go back and look at those threads, but it can see its own history, and in a way that like it can also query ideally. So it's like, it's kind of one of my underlying principles is this idea of like agency for the AI, which I'm not like, machine god pilled or anything like that, but agency in the sense of it'll be a better operating agent if it can see its own past and access it, or no one can access it. Yeah, you're right. This is boring. Come on, Dad. Get to the point. But I'm gonna end that for now. It was a good little sesh. Got started cooking in the end with my little son. He's the real agent. Oh, he's looking at the ring light. That's not good. He's getting a taste for the stardom. I got a little cartoon baby there. It's funny as. There is a real baby.